Well, 2022 is in the books. And one of the things that I often like to do is look back at what happened last year, see what's going on last year to see if there's any trends or things we can follow for this year. We have the one and only Beth Traverso. We're going to look at what happened in King County in 2022. How
Yeah,
you doing, Beth?
I'm doing great, Mike. Yeah, thank you. So King County, that's the greater Seattle area. So it covers a wide area, about 2 million people. And the Seattle, we'll talk about the Seattle market. It's often King County they're talking about. Sometimes they'll lump in some neighboring counties too. But 2022 is in the books. It was one of the more interesting years in my now 25 years selling real estate in King County. So figure we might just take a little look at the numbers because I know we like
Yeah,
to
I'd
do
love.
that on this
I,
channel.
I absolutely. And again, if I remember our weekly conversations, because again, you have a playlist. It really was a tale of two halves.
Oh
And
my.
really, the first 3 months, crazy, stupid, over asking. The last 3 months, ice cold, and then the middle was kind of transition. Is that my
Yeah,
summary?
it kind of it hit the wall right around June,
Yeah, the first
July.
time we
Really
went
hit
over
it in
6%
July.
interest.
Yeah, that's right when those interest rates spiked. It just went bam. So, well, let's take a look.
Yep, let's
So,
do it.
I'm gonna do a screen share here, and hopefully this is working for you. Can you see that?
It's coming. Yes, I can. Look at that. Oh,
All
very
right.
nice.
So I have to give credit here where credit is due. The Northwest Multiple Listing Service compiled this data and put together this nice report for us. So this year, first of all, it's new listings by month. And so you can see in January, when this is where it started with a bang, listings were
Right.
down. This was when they were down to almost, yeah, you can see the numbers here are extremely low in
So those are
January.
new listings. So year on year, you
Listings.
start the year with less.
Residential only, I'm not looking at condos. That's a whole different thing.
Perfect.
But yeah, down 21%. And that was the time when we were seeing the most intense bidding wars I've ever seen, where people were paying $500,000, sometimes over list price, throwing huge non-refundable deposits released directly to the seller, waiving everything. It was just insanity. And that continued into March, February, March, and even in April. And then you can see things started to change a little bit here. And then we were talking about like how the market kind of got a little bit the crash in transactions and the listings and all of that. You can see that starting to happen here.
Yeah, look at that. Look
Look
at
at
that
this.
starting in June, every month got successively worse. Oh, there was a little bit better in September. But look at that. That is crazy.
I know. Yeah, and they're
Wow.
still down. So this is just looking through the end of December. So here we
Look at
are in
that.
late January.
701 new listings. That is
Yeah, this
nothing.
just happened. This just happened. So there just wasn't very
Wow.
much going on in December.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And now here's active listings. And the yellow line here is 2022, and this is 2021 down here.
Look at active
So,
listings in December of 21. You had 400, 395. That is comical.
and
Oh,
that's
that's
why it
funny.
all blew up. It was like
Exactly.
match on the gasoline. We had
Oh, that's
interest rates
amazing.
around 3, and people were feeling flush and they wanted to buy a house. And there's nothing to buy. This is all of King County. To think that there was 395 listings in all of King
That's
County.
yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
okay.
So, and interesting numbers here. Pending sales. So you can see here that in 2022 is basically down across the board. I
Yeah.
don't see any that were November. It seemed
Oh.
like, see here, 37, 37, 41,
Oh.
26. These last quarter of the year was where we were feeling it the most.
Yeah.
But
How
they were
many
down
active
all
listings
year.
again? So can you go
Pardon?
back up? Go up, please. So you have 1,800, almost 1,900 active. And how many pendings do you have in December? Go down. Sorry. So wow. So you're 2 to 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then closed sales, here's the actual transactions.
Interesting.
And so here you can see that it was down.
Somebody might call that a transaction crash, but I don't know.
I've heard that somewhere.
Some smart guy said that.
I know. And where I saw it in my area was even more dramatic, because on the east side was where things were sped
Oh.
up the fastest. We saw the most intense bidding wars, and then it corrected harder, faster. And
Wow.
so in July here, where it says it was, let's call it 40% down, we were at 50% that month on the east side down. And it has come back a little bit to more like about 29 or 30 or so now, year over year.
Mm.
But this is having a big impact on a lot of people that are in the real estate industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I tried to warn folks that commissions, like transactions go down. Most people don't really get it, but that's millions and millions of dollars in commissions and fees and escrow title and notary fees. That's why housing can pull the country into a recession.
Yes, and it's all the other things that people do as far as like
Yeah.
furniture and paint and
Yep.
all of
Moving and
everything. There's a
everything.
lot that ties into that. It's a big part of the economy, as you talk about a lot. And then closed sale price by month, and this is King County overall. And
Oh,
so,
this is hilarious. This is hilarious. You had a 40% crash in transactions and you were up 2%.
right,
Oh, somebody
how is
called
that
that.
possible? You've explained it. So it's the lack of inventory.
I've certainly tried to. It's
Mhm.
hilarious.
Yeah, and I
That
mean
is
year over
hilarious
year,
to
it's
me.
about 8.6 for the total year.
That is funny.
But it's
Wow.
it's not a lot, but it's a little, it's
It's
not
not a
negative,
crash,
not a
Beth.
crash.
That's not a crash. Not a crash.
And if everything that has happened hasn't brought this negative, I don't know how much more is going to happen. There will be
Yeah.
the comparison as we push through the quarter one of this year that isn't going to be as have the intensity of the bidding wars where
Yeah.
houses were selling routinely 30 or more percent over list.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna have that. So it might look a little negative for a few months there, but then we'll
Yeah.
work our way through that with the year over year numbers.
Yeah.
So
One
that'll
of
be
my
interesting
one
to
of my
watch.
12 housing calls is we will have 4 negative year-on-year numbers next year, or this
Yeah.
year, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be more surprised if that didn't happen than if it did, because it just
Yeah.
the intensity of what happened is not going to be replicated this year, and it's gonna have some
You mean
negative
having
numbers.
395 active listings is not normal? I mean,
Yeah.
is that abnormal?
Yeah, kind of abnormal. So you can see why there'd be. So it was really interesting. I'll just reminisce a little bit here, but like, we had it where because of COVID, you couldn't have overlapping showings.
Mhm.
And we had to, and all these hundreds of people wanted to see a house in one day because they had to see it that day, or somebody was going to buy it. Somebody's going to throw some cash at it and they would lose it. So I remember this one house I saw, we were only able to get one little spot and it was 5 minutes. And so I took my clients in there. It was like speed dating. We had to run through this house and be like, okay, you want it? And I think it was like 1.4 million or something. And it's like,
That's not healthy.
people need more time to make a big decision like that.
Yeah.
You can't even see it for more than
Dude,
five
I have a
minutes.
hard time spending $1,000 in five
Oh,
minutes,
I
let alone a
know.
million dollars.
So yeah, so I don't miss those days at all. I don't know anybody that does. And so now here's the months of inventory. I know you like to look at that too. And so you can
Absolutely.
see,
Yeah.
look at how low this is. It peaked at
Still how
around
low
two
it is.
months in October or November.
Wow.
And look
This
at
is
this,
all
back
of
in
King County.
January, it was not even 2 weeks of inventory.
Uh, uh, but
So it went
hey,
from two
it's
weeks
up
of
it's up
inventory to
400%.
2 months.
It's up 400%,
It's up
500%.
400%. So the sky must be falling.
Must be falling.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then
Wow.
I don't really putting this much into, this is showing high end properties, but they're saying it's 1 million and higher. But where I am over here in this area 540, our median is over that million. So of course we're going to have more over
Let
here
me
on the
just
east
make
side, 4,700 sales there, but they
so
are 12% down over last year. We talked about this in the previous video about the higher end properties.
so is that transactions or price?
Priced at a million or property sales priced at a million or higher.
So basically they're saying the luxury market is slow. Basically our video number 1 where
Yeah.
we broke down different price points.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, if you want a deal, go shop in luxury.
Yes.
Because the lower end is there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing available, and that's what I think
Nothing
a lot of people are
available.
just it's being distorted. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and people can be more selective at that higher price tier, and they can have better terms. They can negotiate more with sellers.
And it's a want, right? Most people in a like I don't know what it is. 99% of the people in the luxury market they're living somewhere now, so it's a
Yeah,
want, right? They don't
yeah.
need it. They can wait.
They already have a nice house a lot of the
Yeah,
time, and they're waiting for
probably
that
a couple.
certain. Yeah, they may have more than one. They're waiting for that certain thing that's going to be just right for them and taking their time.
Yeah. This is an amazing, again, shout out to King County.
Northwest Multiple Listing
Oh, I'm
Service.
sorry, Northwest Multiple Listing Service.
Yeah.
Shout out them for putting this together. Thank you for allowing us to show it. Very well done. Any kind of closing thoughts on this?
No, I think it's just good to see in numbers and some infographics, just exactly what we've been talking about all this time. So it just shows it all right there in action. And I'm really curious to see what this first quarter is going to bring. I think it's going to be very different, obviously, from first quarter 2022, but also very different from the fourth quarter of 2022. Also, like that was, I think, just there was so few transactions and so little inventory, and just the buyer sentiment wasn't there, etc., that there wasn't much happening. But I'm seeing shifts now where things are changing.
Somebody we both know is calling the housing bottom in transactions. Somebody we know is calling that. So I think it's going to prove to be true.
Yeah,
Somebody we know.
I would agree with that person. Yeah.
Yeah, we like him a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Beth, if somebody wanted to shop in King County, buy or sell, how would they reach out?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through my website, BethTraversogroup.com. It's spelled right there in the corner. And can just Google me too. You'll find me on Google, or also on social media everywhere. So pretty easy to find.
Awesome.